Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation. I'm your host, Donna Gray Banks, and it is my honor to have Keith Kareem Williams here with us, the author of, was it 26 books? How many is it now? 25?
I think 25, 26-ish, depending on how
26?
you count them. 26-ish.
In multiple genres, sci-fi, erotica, murder, and suspense, and urban chronicle, just to name a few. Keith has been a returned featured author for 8 years. You've been coming to us for 8 years. That's amazing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Your babies were in middle school.
They were babies,
They
babies.
were babies at that time. So thank you for taking the time to be with us this evening. Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation is brought to you by Eyeless Diamonds LLC, Lee's Press, Milton McCulloch, author of Love and Emancipation, a Dante production, of course, the Fresh Festival, which will be held in the beautiful city of Daytona Beach, 22, 23, 24 February in the year of 2024. So if you have any questions for Keith, please leave them in the chat room. And this conversation is being recorded. Keith, it's my pleasure. Please just take a moment and do a quick introduction for everybody.
Ah, well, I'm Keith Kareem Williams, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Um, been a single dad since, I don't know, I'm getting old, my memory's bad, but I've been a single dad for a long time, but also a full-time author. I'm a ghostwriter. I write screenplays. I'm a novelist. So I'm all those things. So, and I'm honored and thank you for having me.
Oh,
I
no,
love
no problem. But you
French.
went to school to be an engineer. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, I
Okay, okay.
originally I was supposed to be, well, I wanted to be an aerospace engineer. I was supposed to attend Embry-Riddle College, but life was life. So it took me in a different direction, but I'm not mad at it. Sometimes, like I said, life will life.
Right.
And the Most High, He always knows what's best for you.
And listen, we got connections now. If you want to go now,
Right?
we can get you in there.
Because I could pull up some of my old designs and drawings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty good.
But yeah, I think you're right. The creator decides, we're just kind of here walking down the path. And so we also know that you would not have two beautiful children doing what they're doing. And so, you know,
Right. Right. I can't
everything works
question it.
out everything works out for the best. So as you're, single father, daddy, developer, and friend. Tell us about how raising your children has assisted you in your creative process. And secondly, tell us how your young adults have developed their own mastery in certain fields.
It was the decision for me to become a full-time author was really because, well, one, I felt like my talent was just being wasted on a job where I was gainfully employed, but I never felt like I was doing what I was meant to do. And
Mm.
also within that company, I hit somewhat of a ceiling where I know there was nowhere else for me to go. And I'm putting in all this work because whatever job I'm on, I always give it my all. So
110, 120%. Right.
yeah, and I'm doing that and I see where it's benefiting, the owners of the company and so on and so forth. And meanwhile, as a single dad, I'm not home enough with my children. So I decided that to, even though it was risky, to become a full-time author would give me more time to take them to school, to go to parent teachers meeting, to go on the trips. If one of them was sick, I didn't have to beg for a day off to take care of my sick kid with the flu. So that's that. If family is really what pushed me to do it. And also, um, there are many times along this journey where I thought about doing something else. You might have a bad week in sales. The money's not coming in like you want it to come in, but because they were watching me, I never wanted to quit.
I
Right?
know.
Because it mattered. It mattered that they've seen the highs, they've seen the lows, they've seen the triumphs, they've seen the frustration. So with their own things that they're doing, they're very steadfast in what they're doing because they just have a different understanding than maybe some people would, because they understand that that's a part of it. They see me go through it, so they don't panic
Right.
when things might not go the way they thought they would go.
Right.
So yeah, so that's how I
Here's
think
the thing. You will never be able to give them anything more than your time.
that's the most important
Money,
thing.
yeah, money's great.
Mm-hmm.
Gifts are great, but
Mm-hmm.
having somebody there after school is everything. I mean, I fortunately had a grandmother who was there, when we
Mm-hmm.
left, she was there when we came home,
Right.
We all got sick of tomato soup and Ritz crackers, but you know what I mean? But that's what that was,
But
right?
that's what it was.
So,
It's the
yeah,
time. It's the
those are
time
the,
because
hmm
as they get older, because they're adults now, and we sit around, we have conversations, we hang out differently because they're grown now. So the hangout is different, but they go back to those conversations and those times. And I'll be honest with you guys, there were Christmases where, yeah, that tree, nothing gonna be under there. But I will say this about them. I raised the type of kids that never made a fuss. They
mm,
never made me feel bad. They never made me feel like, well, you owe us because we didn't get anything last year. And they were good with just us making hot chocolate. Thank goodness the cable was on. And we watch A
right,
Christmas Story 50 times. You know what I
nice.
mean? So,
And you have an extended family though too, that kind of,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, come
So,
in,
grandma and uncles. But,
yeah.
but just as a dad, sometimes it would feel, but they understood like that. We know what you're doing. It's all right. So, all right.
Well, I mean, you even in your circumstance, all of us have had our circumstances. I remember getting a bike that I knew was used, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could look at it, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted a bike. It
You
didn't
just wanted the
matter.
bike.
It didn't
Mm-hmm.
matter that there, he didn't get all the crust off of it. I was
Mm-hmm.
on that bike like it was brand new. So anyway, we
Right.
all take our hats off to you for being steadfast and spending the
Thank you.
time. I know your son is in the filmmaking and your daughter is now in school. And so
Yeah.
um
Yeah,
those are
she's awesome because now in terms of business, there are things that, I'm getting a little long in the tooth and gray in the beard, and they'll put me onto, well, dad, you should do this and TikTok. And I'm like, eh. And like my daughter, she's going to school for education, but she wants to actually get into more so she's gonna teach just to learn it from that side.
mm-hmm.
But there are things that she wants to change in the school system about how, it's done. So I have a program that I want to put into the school. So she's working with me on that now. And it's amazing when you can collaborate with your kids.
And it's amazing how we still think we can teach our children like we did in 1950.
Right. Right.
We have to really look at that whole thing
Yeah.
holistically and differently. And I'm sure that's what she's doing,
Yes. Yes. And
saying, you
because
all
she'll hit
really
me
want
with a perspective and I'll be like, wow, I didn't think about it like that. She's like, yes. I'm like, okay.
the
So it's
same desk that I went to school in. You guys are still teaching people in those? They're
right.
terrible,
Right.
right?
Right.
So the school system really does need a revamp. And sometimes it only takes that one person or that
Mm-hmm.
one group of people
Yes.
to turn that 18 wheeler. Just an 18 wheeler is hard to cut the corner, but if you start it, you can get through it. And so tell her we said whatever we can do to help her, let us know.
I
And
will.
your friend Miss Janice, of course, says, when are you writing your memoir?
Mm.
Yeah,
You know,
she's the memoir lady.
I'm
So
so scared. I'm so nervous to do it,
why? Because there's
but
still people you're live that we're gonna talk about. It's okay.
yeah, it'd be some scandal. But you know what? I was thinking about it, maybe writing something from childhood to fatherhood to this point where I'm at now. And and people have asked me, and sometimes I feel like, have you done anything important enough? And my kids would be like, are you crazy?
You raised two kids
So
by yourself? Are you kidding me?
yeah. So I may write one from the perspective of like just being a single dad, like how it is to help other single parents. Because single mom, single dad, we face similar challenges, you know what I mean? So I may write it from that perspective. And then
Or you
mhm.
could each have a quarter of the book.
Yeah,
Right? Your son could have a quarter, your daughter could have a quarter, you have the middle, or she
right,
has, you know what I'm saying? Their
right,
perspective, and
right.
everybody gets to tell their story.
True. Yeah, that's a great idea.
You know what
Shh,
I
don't tell
mean?
nobody. That's a great idea, actually.
Because if you really want a memoir of how you feel, right? But how do people feel around you?
Right.
And
That is true.
most people don't get a chance to tell that perspective because they're dead, right?
Right.
When the memoir is written. And so it really
Right.
would be nice because if it was very creative young people, even
Yeah.
if it's the first chapter, he does a chapter,
Right.
she does a chapter, and then you go into how you felt it was like, right? So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Janice said, reach out. She's
I
waiting
will.
to do it for you if that's something you want to do. So let's talk about you write in 5 different genres. Which one's the easiest?
They're all tricky. The hardest thing is sometimes is why I write in so many different ones because I'm not always in the same mood. Like with erotica, I have to be in the mood. With fantasy and science fiction, I would say that one is a little bit easier at times, but all of them are tricky and it's really I'm mood driven. Like I'm consistent. That's how come I'm able to put out so many books. But I also bounce around. So I'll
And you
work
start
on
more than one book?
yeah,
Oh my
I'll
word.
have 3 books. Right now I have 3 and a screenplay going at the same time. But
Mm.
I just make sure that I'm consistent and I work on something every day. Because I'm not always in the mood to mess with this one. I'm not in the mood to mess with that one. So that's how come I avoid writer's block also, is because I just bounce around and write what I feel. But the most important thing to me is to just be consistent. It
Are
doesn't
you
matter if
still
I got
pencil to paper and then computer? Or you've gotten away
yeah,
from that just a little
yeah.
bit?
A little
No?
when I'm pressed for time, I'll just type. But I still try to be pen and paper. I still try to be pen and
Really?
paper. Yeah. It just flows better for me. When I type, what I'll do is I'll get like the skeleton of the story out typing. But when I really need to like get into it, I have to write with pen and paper first. I can't help it because I've tried the other way. You know, like if I'm pressed for time and I have a project that has like a
And you
deadline, like
just get on a computer and get
I
it
just get on
done.
a computer and just do it. But otherwise, from that, I'd rather do pen and paper still.
So we all went through the pandemic together. What did
Mm-hmm.
the pandemic teach you about believing in what you do? Because that had to be, there were some moments, and for our audience who don't,
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that you don't know who Keith is, but if you don't,
Mm-hmm.
there were moments when he was on the street alone,
Mm-hmm. Yep. The
trying to,
pandemic was it was chilling and spooky, especially in this city. This city is not some place where you get a lot of like empty streets. That just is non-existent. It could be 1 a.m. in the morning and you're gonna see a lot of other people on the subway. So to go outside and to see like and I'm not even talking about a neighborhood in Brooklyn or Queens or the Manhattan,
right.
and you're the only person standing outside on that block is insane.
Yeah.
It'll give you chills to experience it, right?
Right. Yeah.
So for me, it was like, you know, it felt like is this the end of the world? Like, it was crazy. Also, from a career standpoint, it was scary for me because let's say I have a slow week in sales. All right. I was always the guy that grab my table, grab my banner,
Move.
grab a duffel bag of books, go outside and sell books. right? That's one thing I'm good at. You could drop me off anywhere. As long as there are people around, with money in their pockets, I'm gonna sell books,
Right.
right? So in New York, it's like, no, you can't be outside. I'm
Right.
like, okay, but my bills don't stop coming, right? And so I did panic. Like I did some ghostwriting jobs that
Kind of got
and
you through a little bit.
yeah, I'm grateful for them. But I know I also shortchanged myself, but it was out of desperation. Because look, like I said, the bills are still coming. Um, I need to pay them. So in order to pay them, I took these gigs. But what it also showed me is the level of faith that I have
Yes.
is different than it even used to be. Because whatever I need, I always find. Like I always get maybe not what I want, but I
But
always
what you
get what
need.
I right. Because I didn't even solicit or promote, look, I'm ghostwriting or I'm doing this or I'm doing formatting or I can write your screenplay. And I just got clients,
See?
right? Random, I had some friends that said, oh, you do that? And put me on to people who needed that type of work. And also I had random people just hit me up like, Keith, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah. So the level, the amount of faith that I have in what I'm doing it's on a different level, and I'm just
Yeah.
glad to, because a lot of guys and a lot of people that I know, it wasn't just like the elderly passing away. I know dudes that are younger than me that died. So it also gives you
A
a different
perspective.
life,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
you have to be grateful that you're still here.
But I don't want like taking nothing from the creator, right? I don't want to take
Hmm.
anything from him, she, he, whatever you believe in.
Hmm.
But I want to say that a lot of it had to do with your collaborative nature, right? And
Right.
getting to know people
Yes.
and reciprocity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
don't think about you just because you're who you are. They think about you because what you've done or what you've said or what you've brought to their life,
Thank
right?
you.
I'm just saying.
Thank you. Thank
As
you. It,
listen, I ain't taking nothing away from God because I ain't
right.
doing that. All y'all, I
It's
ain't doing that.
it's it's
But
it's true though.
it's a 360. It's a circle.
It's very
It's the circle of life. It includes the master. It includes
yes,
people, and it includes reciprocity, and includes your friends. That's the
yes,
circle, right? And
yes,
so when you have that connection, then that's when somebody says, "Ah, oh, I know somebody who does that." Keep
right.
right.
Yeah, that's very
and
true.
and so anyway, just to make it clear that it's not only what God can do, but what you've done for somebody else.
Thank you. Yeah, I
And
believe I believe in that. I believe
yeah,
it because
yeah,
it was somebody said that to me the other day. Like I was in Atlanta, and they said that was the first time they met me in person, and they said, "Wow, you're the same." Yeah, yeah, the same me you see online is the same me that you gonna meet in person. That's how I am. You know what I mean? And I had a conversation with my son. He's young, the relationship stuff, heartbroken. He started getting real mean. And I said, listen, don't put that out into the world. What you plant, that is what is going to grow. A lot of people don't understand that they're surrounded by certain things because that's the environment they've created. You know what I mean? So the same joy that I want for myself is what I want for you, and I want for everybody that I encounter. Even people that you could quote unquote say have wronged me in some way, I
hmm
still hope that they find their way and find, you know, happiness or peace. Because there's a lot of reasons why people do unpleasant things,
right.
and it's not always personal to you
hmm
per se. It's what's going on with them 99.9% of the time. You were just kind of like collateral damage. Like you were in their circumference, so
Yeah,
you got
right. When it
pieces of
all
the
went
love.
down. Mhm.
Yeah, but it's really what's going on with them.
I usually quote Nancy Wilson when I say, I wish you shelter from a storm, a cozy fire to keep you warm. But most of all, when snowflakes fall, I wish you love. I wish you love. Go. Do what you
That's
need
it.
to do, right? And,
That's it.
and and I hope that it all comes back to you. And I'm
That's
sorry
it.
I was in the way and I was collateral damage at the time. But I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna hold that against you, but I won't let you back. But I won't
There
I'm
you
not gonna
go.
let you back,
Yeah,
but I'm
I
gonna
gotta
let you
go.
go.
Good
I'm
luck with that. Right. Exactly.
gonna let you go.
Exactly.
So let's talk about your filmmaking. Now,
Okay.
I know that when you first came to Fresh, that was kind of on your mind, but then you met all these people who said,
Yes.
you can do this. And so where are you in that? I know you've had some ups and some downs, but where are you in that
Yeah.
right now?
Well, right now, I had one that I really want to. That's gonna be my first indie short, right? Some of my friends from Fresh, they read it, loved it. They gave me honest criticism and feedback as well. But I started casting. So that's, so I'm a perfectionist. So I have another filmmaker friend. He's done movies before. He had a real tough, he said, it's gonna be a tough talk, buddy. And he had a conversation with me and he volunteered to help me through the whole process, right? Because he said, you have the talent, you're a talented writer, but he says, I'm overthinking it. Donna, I want to be, it's like I want to knock it out the park so bad. He's like, relax. You're going to make mistakes. It might not be perfect. He said, but you have to just go ahead and do it, which I should know because that's how I felt early on and to this day a little bit when I write. But like doing novels now is second nature to me. So I don't
Right,
have that fear that I can't do it. I know I can, right? So with this, because this is something totally new, I'm so obsessed with doing everything right that is he said it's holding up your process. He said just do it. He
just
said
do
if it's a mess, so what? Just do it. So I'm like, so some things happened lately. Had
it.
some things I had to deal with. Life was life in,
Right,
right? But
right.
I have everything in place and now I'm moving forward. I have at least two. And it's not a big cast. There's not a lot of characters. So I have two for sure. And I'm taking my time because I still want to do it right.
I want to tell most filmmakers that a lot of things are done in like three areas, right? Do the Right Thing was filmed on steps
Hmm.
in the was it the Bronx or Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, I think.
Brooklyn. There
Yeah.
were only three other scenes in that
Yeah.
whole movie,
Movie.
right? A
Right.
Devil in a Blue Dress. There was the scene at the club, the scene at his house, and the scene at his girlfriend's house. That was it.
That's it.
Right. And
Right.
so, you want to be everywhere, but you really can just, if you can, I know you wanted to be honest and forthright and
Right.
original, but you can do everything from three
Yeah.
different,
I cut it down. I cut it down to two locations, like two
yeah,
solid locations,
yeah.
and the other stuff takes place in cars. So I should be good.
Right.
So
I
yeah.
mean, and when you come to Fresh this year, please speak to Sandenise because she's the queen of doing everything in two spaces and and
Right.
and changing it up, right? So she'll
All right.
give you a lot of good feedback. So let's because time is ticking.
Okay.
I can't believe it goes by so fast, but let's talk about your two latest novels. Just give us a little brief synopsis.
Okay. The two latest. Now, I was kind of mad at myself because I'm going through my catalog and I'm revamping things, and I'm like, 2022, you didn't put out a book? That's crazy. But instead of, I'm learning to not be hard on myself the way I usually am. And I took a step back and I thought about it. And I said, yeah, but Keith, you didn't put out any of your own books, but I'm probably responsible for maybe 10 books
Other.
for other people.
Right.
So I was working, right?
Exactly.
Um, well, you want to know, well, what I'm working on now
Okay.
is I have a book which is going to be F.R.E.S.H, is a book titled Foreign. And it's just about it's like a family drama. about a family that came to America and what they went through to kind of get acclimated to the country. And it's an urban thriller and it's drama and it's dangerous and it's twists. So there's that.
Okay.
I also have something sexier. That's erotica. It's called Wildflowers and Bullets.
Oh,
Yeah. Now that I worked with a publisher, Julia Press Simmons. She wanted to put together an anthology with just male authors. So she, it was the King edition. It was all male authors, and we all did. So my story, I decided to expand it into a bigger story because there's a lot going on.
right.
So I'm writing something sexy, and I'm writing something bloody and thrilling, so I could satisfy everybody. So
Now you
that,
have one that you did. Did you redo the covers like a voodoo?
yes, all
Okay,
right.
okay, okay.
That's Slow Kiss of the Apocalypse,
Yeah,
and the book. Everybody who reads the book loves the book. But it's tricky to find like stock photos for that fit with what the story was.
mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people are crying and complaining about AI. I don't care. It's a tool. I'm gonna use it. I'm not gonna use it to write books, but if you can use it for your marketing and Donna, I changed that cover, right? All I did was change the cover. I didn't change anything about the story.
Right.
That book has been selling more than my other book, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm going through my entire catalog, and one by one, I'm revamping them. The
Second
older,
editions, right.
yeah, the older books, I have to add all the new books that I've written and the new ways to get in contact with me. I have to change Twitter from Twitter to X. So I'm revamping everything one by one. So I'm going through the whole process because that's one of the toughest things in this business. It's not after a while, it's not the creative part. It's the marketing and actually getting your work into people's hands.
It's
That's
everything.
the tough part, right? I, if Look, if I had a marketing team pushing these books and bringing in money, and I could just sit, I could
Right.
probably write 7 novels a year.
Right.
But that is you have to put a lot into that for it to work. So that's the hardest part. So
So for all you aspiring authors, let me say that writing the book is one thing. What you do with it afterwards is a whole nother story.
a whole nother ball.
Once you have your prime people who are going to buy it, then what? Because
Right.
you want to reach a whole nother area of people, and other places. And so marketing is really, really important. Or you'll have books in your trunk forever. But
That's it. And I want to tell the aspiring authors out there too that, well, for me, this is what works for me. Yeah, I might you might okay, when I as soon as I release the book, it doesn't matter if I had to go and do an odd job to bring in a couple extra dollars, right? When people ask me, what do you do? I'm an author. I don't care if I'm moving furniture. I'm an author, right? If I
right.
jump in my car, sometimes I'm bored. I just want to get out the house and I go do Uber Eats. Well, what do you do? I'm an author. I got books. You want to read one? You want to buy? I'm pumping gas at the gas station. I'm an author. You and once you have to create that and remind yourself of that and do that constantly,
Constantly.
constantly,
Every time
constantly.
I'm on a plane, I leave a book.
I, hey, Donna, I travel with T-shirts and shirts that says author, and it's a conversation starter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And people say, you write books? Yes. And I hand out, oh, let me go in my bag. I got flyers. I got stickers. Here, there you go. Scan this QR code. You want to buy a book? I got some in my
You got it
constantly.
constantly on your mind that is who you are, right? That is
Absolutely.
exactly who you are.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so let's the characters in your
Yeah,
head. Are they
yeah.
developed before the book, or is the book there and then the characters?
Characters, they live inside my head.
No, I can't
They
stand
live inside my head. They really do. They really do. And I would say this: when I write, sometimes when I really lock in, it's like I'm actually pulling from a source from somewhere else,
Oh yeah.
and the words pass through me to the paper. But the characters
Have you ever
themselves,
written something and you say, "Did I write that?" Yeah.
yes, you kind
Yeah.
of you get in a zone and
Yeah.
you write it and you read it back, and a lot of times you wow yourself, like, wow, this is really, like, I would read
Pretty
this. This is
good.
really good. Right. Yeah, you get that. You kind of get
Yeah.
that. Pretty good at this, you know. The characters, they're real before I start to write them, and I tell people sometimes, and they were surprised to hear me say that character that you didn't like, that bad guy from that book, yeah, that's me too. The hero, the main protagonist, yeah, that's me too. Or it's from just, I'm a very observant person, and I think maybe I have, my talent is not just writing. I think when I look at people or I interact with people, it's just like what I said before, where there's a reason why people behave the way they do. I
Yeah.
usually look deeper into it, right? Even if a person is not, maybe not such a nice person or whatever it is going on with them, I'm able to see a little bit deeper as to what's going on. So when I create characters, I find that those characters, that's how come I craft such realistic characters. I don't like I guess you would say like cliche type of characters. I want my characters to feel human. All of them are flawed. The good guys, the bad guys. I like creating quote unquote bad guys or bad characters that you can empathize with and understand.
Yeah.
Whereas, oh well, he's a clear cut villain. Oh, well, there's reasons why this person, because that's what it is with all of us. Even the worst of the worst, there's a reason why they are the way they are. You don't have to accept it. You have to
Right.
tolerate it, but there's a reason for it.
I'm always surprised at the character that people like who were terrible. Like I have a character named Phoenix.
Yeah,
He was a
yeah,
serial cheater, right? He was married,
right.
Mormon, white with children. What?
Hmm.
I think, why did you kill him?
Right.
I think that's
Yeah,
amazing when you.
that's amazing. I had a character that got killed in my second book, and I had people tell me they cried when he died. I was like, really? But then I took a step back and I said, well, then I really did my job.
Right. You
You
really
know,
did.
if
Yeah.
if they even surprised me with who they related to or who they rooted for, whatever what have you. So that means you did your job.
That's right. But I'm always surprised when I get an email that says,
Yeah,
you like that character? He was
yeah,
terrible, right? But that's part of the process of writing. Let's see what else. It is 8:50. Okay. So what has been your biggest challenge while publishing your own books? That.
that the marketing of it, also not being, I think, surprising people with what I'm able to do.
So you upload all your stuff and
I do everything. I
ooh,
format, I upload, I do the covers, I design my interiors, because I think the interior of a book is just as important as the cover. Because the chapter headings, how you design the paragraphs, or how the book, how each chapter starts and how it's laid out, it sets a tone. And every book is not the same, right? Like my fantasy books look different from my romance. My romance looks different from my erotica, and so on and so forth. So every aspect of this, I just love it. Like sometimes that's how I know I love this. The
it
formatting itself
wasn't
is
a job.
tedious.
It
It's
wasn't
not
a
a
job.
job. Yeah, it's tedious to some people. I love doing it. When I finish a book, I'll print out the whole thing and just look at it. I'm like that. I'm really. That's why I tell people, like, when I say I do this, I'm like, I really do this. Like, it's fun for me.
So that's the biggest marketing is the biggest challenge.
Marketing,
And
yes.
the greatest accomplishment is when it's done or when
Not. I used to think it was when it was done, right? But a reader showed me different. I sold her a book. I forgot what year, but it had to be like when I first started. So let's say 2011, she bought the book. I put my email address in the back. At that time, I wasn't good at. I just wrote it in. Here's my. I wasn't thinking about that. Like, wait, they need a way to contact me, so I just wrote it in the back, gave it to her. This is years later, and she sent me a long email saying that she was going through a divorce when I met her. She said she was moving and she found the book and she said, "Wow, I bought this book from this guy so many years ago. I never read it." She read it, sent me a long review and how much she loved it. And so to me, that's the pinnacle of it. It's nice when you get it in your hand. You could take a deep breath. I did it. But when the pinnacle of everything is when you sit in a room full of readers and they give you their feedback. Like I was in Chicago and we were discussing Cursed Immortals. And a lady came in with a whole journal, which is notes. And that feeling is amazing.
It is
When you sit down
amazing.
and people discuss your work. And even the readers sometimes show you things that on a subconscious level you put into the book, but when they highlight it, you're like, wow, yeah, that's it right there. That's the best part.
And when they recognize you, like you said, that's
Oh,
kind of, yeah, that's
hey,
really.
I was in Virginia getting on the elevator in the Marriott, and a lady said, "Keith, you're here." I was like, "Hi." You know what I mean? I'm minding my business,
I
and
know.
yeah,
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 that's
that's it.
that's and it's not an ego thing.
No, no,
Not at all. It's just more like, oh my, the work that I've done
right. It's out there.
is
The
out.
the I tell you a crazy story real quick. One time I was in Brooklyn selling my books on the street, and a guy passed. And I'm new. I just, I wasn't doing it that long. So he said, I already read that book. I'm like, yo, man, listen, if you don't want the book, just say you don't want it, but you ain't got to lie. He was like, bro, all right, I'm going to tell you. And he started telling me the story. And I was like, yo, how you got my book? And what it was is I had sold his friend a book in the Bronx. And he said he was in her house and the book was on the table. So he said he was crushing his weed on the book. Right? And
Right.
then he said, let me start reading this. And he said, I couldn't put it down. I was like, all right, all right. So it's a thing where, to know that every book that you sell, it's not about, yes, we need to earn a living.
Right.
But it's not about the sales. It's about how many people that one book will touch.
Right.
Sharing your thoughts, your ideas,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
creativity, how you see the world. And to know that other people appreciate it and see it and enjoyed it, you can't beat that. You know what I mean?
So
You can't beat
so
that.
you went to Atlanta this year with Curtis Butt. Was that your first
Yes.
year?
That was my first year.
How was it? It was
That was
great.
awesome. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of
He's
fun.
an
It was
awesome guy.
it was awesome. The panels, the panel discussions, the seeing old friends, seeing new friends. It was, and everybody there loving literature and the same thing. It was, yeah. It
Yeah,
was
it
it
was
was
good,
great. It was
right?
great. It was
And so
great.
I need to push my own product. So tell me why it is that you come back to Fresh every year. Besides the
Because
fact that I love you, that's not
besides the fact that I love you,
the
no, it's just I've been to a lot of events, right? And a lot of times, you have either cliques, sometimes you run into ego. That's just part for
Yeah,
the course of the entertainment business.
yeah.
But Fresh is fun in that it's family to me now.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
family to me now,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Down to the guys that cater.
Yeah.
Hey, you back? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm back. You know what I mean? It's family, and you have a talent and a gift for putting together like-minded, amazing people.
Thank you. Yeah.
You
We have
really do.
fun, right? Yeah.
We have fun. Listen, no matter what, that's on my calendar. I'm coming. I said,
And it's amazing
listen,
that somebody said to me, I didn't see Keith's name on your list. He's coming. I promise you. He's coming.
Listen, I'll
We
be
haven't gotten
look,
the marketing out yet. So.
yeah, I'm gonna be there regard. I just love it. I love it. I
Good.
have a good
Glad.
time every time.
I'm glad.
Everybody's awesome, and I haven't just met like I made friends, like real friends.
Yeah.
It's not just business associates,
right.
friends.
Years since
Yeah,
2017. Was it 2017?
I think it's 2017 or 18, one of the two.
One
But
of the two, yeah.
I lost track. But as long as there's a fresh,
you will be there.
I'll be there.
I am so in love with that. Thank you. So I just need you to tell people how to get in contact with you.
Okay.
And listen, is there anything else you want us to know about who Keith Kareem Williams is?
Well,
I love the fact that you have 3 names too. I just think
yes. Yeah, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and she said, well, "What's your name for me to look you up?" I said, "Keith Kareem Williams." She said, "Oh, Keith Williams." I said, "See, Keith Williams is common. If you look in the yellow pages, there's a million.
There's of them.
Right. There's only one Keith Kareem Williams.
Yeah.
But well, I have those books coming up. My son, I'm in the process of we're doing his cover over, and I'm so proud of him. Donna, when he was a little boy, I couldn't get him to read. I had to force him. So when he came to me and he said, "Dad, I want you to look at something," and it was a whole novel, I was like, "Seriously?" And so
when did you do this?
yeah, and I'm so proud of him. So working on that, revamping that because we want to do the cover over. But otherwise from that, yeah, make sure you guys come to F.R.E.S.H.
Yes, come to F.R.E.S.H. Yeah.
Yes. But
and
yeah,
I need your email address or something so
okay.
they can.
My email address is just kkareemwilliams@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. It's at Reem After Dark, one word. And just put in Keith Kareem Williams on Amazon. All my books will come up.
Nice. It's been let's see, it'll be about 60 days we'll be together. That's gonna be really exciting. And so I need a pearl of wisdom from you, please.
My pearl of wisdom is okay. Let me think. All right. Whatever you do, because I'm actually working on a business book as well, but it's not a business book just for publishing per se. It's for whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do in life, just make sure that you X out that fear factor. It's not real. It's not real. It really isn't. And sometimes even the people around you, they may give you advice and take their advice. There's nothing wrong with that. But never let anyone else's fear affect your dream or what you want to do. Because they mean well, right? But if you allow their doubt to seep into what you want to do, it becomes poison.
It does.
Right? So whatever it is, I don't care, whatever goal you have, losing weight, being more, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Don't let anybody talk you out of something that you want to accomplish. Because it's your life.
It's your life, right?
It's your life.
It's your path.
It's your path. It's for you to fall on it. It's for you to scrape your knee on it. That's part of it. That's for you. That's for you. So.
Well, I thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'm glad we got you back on camera.
Yes.
This is great. Yeah, it was worth the wait. Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here. This group of people have been with me for 2 years, 3 years on Zoom In On A.F.R.E.S.H conversation. And thank you all
because you're awesome, Donna.
Oh my God, I know that I'm awesome. I'm so excited that somebody thinks that they could be with me every week. I appreciate it. And to the audience, of course, when the lights go out and the cell phone towers go down, all you have left is a flashlight and a good book. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Keith. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.